Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Britballing, the Breakdown. I'm joined this week by Mike 2.0. Thanks for joining us, Mike. How's it going?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Good to speak to you. Good to see you again. Standing in for the real Mike.
Nah, he's the fake Mike now, man. Nah, I've got to apologise, everyone. I know this is a Saturday night, and we normally do this show on a Monday, but unfortunately, I've been very, very ill this week. So, yeah, don't eat Kentucky Fried Chicken. Or other chicken products are available. I don't know what I'm allowed to say anymore. Mike's normally the one that tells us what I'm allowed to say and what I can't. But yeah, fuck
Say
yeah.
what you want for me, mate. Say what you want.
So, basically this week, we had a whole group of games that is almost a week away now that we've haven't covered. So we'll put them up along the bottom now that we're going to touch on in a second. But Mike, do you want to just give everyone a little bit of background on yourself, where you coach at and play at, etc.?
Yeah, so head coach, Uni of Manchester, and coaching currently in the summer at Lancashire Wolverines. So shout out to them, and hopefully some other things opening up on the horizon shortly. But as well, you know, the real star of the show is the Team North. That is kind of
there we go.
That is what I represent, and you have to leave that at the end. But yeah, previously played at University of West of England as well, so been around, kind of touched on a bit of football all around the place.
So I know that we spoke about your team a couple of weeks ago that he's played against the Newcastle Raiders, and I was there watching. It was a close game, to be honest, mate. It was a very, very close game.
Everything you want from a playoff game.
Mate, that right tackle of yours, oh my days. I rate him so much. What's his name, by the way, just so I can
So he's Owen Smith. He plays at sort of Manchester Titans as well, starts there as well. So yeah, he's just an example of everything that you kind of want from a university student. We kind of poached him from basketball, came in and just developed and just grew and kind of, you know, has grown with the team really, and the team's grown around him as well. So yeah, he'll be back as well. We've got another 3 years of him, so we're more than happy about that.
Yeah,
and his line coach must be great as well.
I mean, he was a hell of a player. Fast as well, like the stereotypical tackle. I really liked seeing it.
Well,
it was nice to watch.
When you can run a trap with your right tackle, it kind of says the athleticism of the guy as well.
Yeah, definitely. But let's get talking about some fixtures that happened on Sunday gone. The one where I know Britballing needs to apologise for. Well, not me. I actually didn't say anything bad, but I know Mike was getting some heat this week from the Loughborough Sheffield Hallam game. Did you manage to see any of that on Instagram or Facebook or anything this week?
I'm going to be honest. I mean, Hallam, I always fancied Hallam for that game anyway. I just think Hallam's style of play is so different to what everybody's used to in this country because they run this, for me, it's air raid. They'll probably say otherwise, but Dan Johnson at QB just throws it all over the yard. The guy who's behind him is just as good as throwing, so it doesn't matter what you do, pick your poison. And then, Mr. Porteous, I've spoke about him before. He just kind of just dunks on people, mosses on people, and they've got a load of other receivers around them. And it's just not what teams are used to in this country. They're used to teams running the ball. They're used to the short, intermediate passing game. And you've got a team who can legitimately throw it 30, 40 yards with accuracy on the money. You're just not used to that at all. You don't coach it, you don't train for it. So when you do see it, it's completely alien to you.
See, I'm pretty sure I did go with Loughborough, if I'm honest. I know Mike definitely went with Loughborough because he was saying that he doesn't rate Sheffield Hallam as a team altogether, which I know he's went on their socials and apologised. So I know there was some issues going on there. A few of the Hallam players called him out on it, which was great.
Hallam recruit well anyway. They're the benchmark for Division 1 for me. And Loughborough, they're not going to be. It's not going to be long until they're back into the Premiership. But it was maybe just a year too early for them, to be honest. But they'll be up in the Prem, I think, before long as well. So,
do you think it affected them? Do you think it affected Loughborough not having their, let's say, star player because he was down at the CFL combine?
100%. That tight end is just built different. It's just a different breed of kind of athlete than we get in this country. You don't get people who are that size who move that well. You just don't get it in this country. You don't. Again, it goes back to you don't train and you don't play against it. So when you do see it, how do you defend it? You've got no reference point. You've got no base point to go off.
I mean, there's nothing. I'm not being funny. There's nothing Loughborough could have done to keep him from going to that CFL because that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So. It's just unlucky it fell on that date, but it happens. So that was Loughborough Uni 15, Sheffield Hallam 23. But I still think that's close. I think it would have been different if they had the tight end, but I think that's a really good result for Sheffield, if I'm honest.
And it just shows that Sheffield are maturing with each game. And I know when I spoke to Kieran after their game against us, that we played against them, it is a very young team. They're very much like us, and they'll grow with each game and get experience of each game, and that's a big thing for them, especially on that defensive side. It is a very young unit. So they'll grow and they'll develop. So I feel like they're kind of turning a corner at the right time.
The next game up, Newcastle Raiders against Nottingham Trent Renegade. So Newcastle came out victorious 15-7. Now this is another game I went and watched. And I must say, I really enjoyed it. It was a really good game to watch. Apart from the referees. Again. I'm sick of seeing it now. Honestly, I'm sick of seeing it. And this wasn't just like a one-way thing. Both teams were getting terrible calls across the board. But it was just shocking. Where was the crew from your game? Do you know what I mean? I would have took that crew again. That was a good crew.
So that's actually they were actually a local crew to us in Manchester, believe it or not. So we have blessed with good refereeing crews around here, quite local. But I think as well, teams need to be looking at when they're recruiting players. Don't just look at it as playing as well. Look at how can we recruit referees? How can we increase the talent pool? Because much the same, if you've got a bigger talent pool to choose from, it increases the quality. And I feel like teams need to start realising you've got to recruit. You need to recruit coaches. You need to recruit referees. It's got to be a whole kind of holistic approach to team building as a kind of unit.
The one thing I will say is the crew that they had is they did have some elite referees, as they would say. But I think they've got to remember the game isn't about them at certain points. And they're there to facilitate the game in a sense. So I think it can get a coach's back up when some calls are made really not to do with the game and more to do with other things going on. But it's one of them. It happened. From my point of view, the game came out with Nottingham dominating running the ball. They ran the ball really, really well. Their running back, number 33, I can't remember his name. He's a unit, absolute unit, good running the ball, physical runner. And then they started using that young QB, throwing the ball around. It was looking good. It was looking good. The Newcastle Raiders defense then stepped up. They started stopping them on players, managing to stop the run game. So then it was forcing them into passing early down. And then when Newcastle got the ball, it's what you expect from Newcastle. They'll run the ball early and they'll hit you deep down the sideline. And unfortunately, the Nottingham cornerback, who's their best cornerback, I would say, guy with a Hertfordshire Cheetahs helmet, I don't know his name. I'm sorry, but he's a brilliant talent. But he's just too short. They lined up with two tall wide receivers and hit him deep down the sideline twice on him. I know
they did the same against us. They did the same against us, and it's a time-honoured tradition. And Newcastle, credit to them, that coaching staff's quite experienced that they've got there, so they know how to adjust and they know how to take away what you're doing. And I know against us, they went with safety pressure off the backside. So what that did then is it just compresses the box in. So when the running back's looking for that cutback lane, it just means they were slanting sort of away from the pressure. And it just means that cutback lane's not there. They're just compressing the box, and they do adjust very well, and you have to credit them with that as well. And it just shows you the differences sometimes in how teams can adjust and sort of take away what you're doing. And it's going to take a team who are multifaceted to kind of take that away as well. And again, NTU, I'm not going to lie, they're a bit of my kind of crush team. Those pink jerseys, those pink jerseys.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate for them. I thought the game would sort of come down to 1 or 2 points, to be honest, and kind of come really close as well. But again, it's just the quality of kind of the games. It is playoff football, and one mistake, one missed tackle here and there, and you're going home, unfortunately.
It was one of them situations where Newcastle hit them deep. I think the 2 scores mainly for Newcastle were like deep passes. But there wasn't. Yeah, it was. Yeah. In fact, no, one might have been Matty, the lad that scored against you guys, I think. Yeah. But they've got 2 solid receivers there. But it was more of a defensive game. Like, I really enjoyed watching it. Like, Newcastle were putting some things out there that I haven't seen them do so far before. And I don't know whether they're just trying to get stuff on film to confuse other teams, or they just adjusted to the team they were playing against. They knew straight away walking in there, speaking to a few of their coaches, they were like, you need to watch the tackle for this team, like, and watch this kid, and we're going to try and execute on this player, we're going to try and do this. And it was just like, it was good to hear that they've really, really scouted teams they're playing against. So it's one of them. Like, they do the homework.
It's a Premiership, let's be honest, it's a Premiership coaching staff. They've got the Durham coaching staff, essentially, haven't they? And you can't replicate that experience in places, especially in that COVID year. And the QB as well, we can talk about receivers all the time, but if the quarterback can't get it there, QB is just, he is a quality player. Bulmer just does it all, really. He can run it, he can throw it.
Yeah. I don't think we've seen the best of him this season so far compared to what I've seen a few years ago.
But I think the team around him kind of helps with that.
They've stepped up massively. Like, I know I've seen him before at Newcastle. I've seen him at Northampton Vikings. I know what he can do. But I don't think he's knocked it up. Like, I still think he's got another year to go, if I'm honest. And that's quite scary to say that, because he's so fast.
He's a legitimate athlete at that position. And the thing is, he's a medicine student, so he's going to be there for like the next fucking 30 years or something.
He's gonna be there for about another 55 years or something.
They've got a D end as well who doesn't get a lot of love. Isaiah Shebs, I think he's called.
Yeah.
he doesn't get a lot of love. He's got a blue lid on. He doesn't get a lot of love for kind of a lot of people aren't speaking about him, but he's a really good player, just a real tidy player, long, physical, just does his job at the end, and that's what you want.
But I think a lot of their team do just do the job, and we're going to be talking about them coming up against Sheffield later, and I've not seen enough of Sheffield to go into detail like this, but I've seen a lot of Newcastle this season. Obviously, I'm there again tomorrow, but it's one of those situations where they just do their individual jobs right, and they trust what their coaches are saying, and it's done wonders for them so far.
Yeah,
that defense is legit as well, by the way.
Yeah, it really is, like I said, scheme, players, everything. It just works.
Yeah. Next game up, we have SGS Pride versus. So they were 15, Brunel Burners 0. What do you think of that result?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, SGS have just been like a bit of a buzzsaw this year, haven't they? Just going for absolutely everybody. And I thought this would be much of the same, because I don't know a lot about Brunel, I'm not going to lie to you. But they seem to really step up and really kind of take the game to them. And from the sounds of it, Brunel were just, trying to air the ball out and pass the ball out. So I think it's maybe, again, is it something different than what they were used to for SGS? But the quality just kind of got them through in the end. And I know they've got some serious talent in that team. The defensive tackle's £305, Shaq Kabina. Again,
you can't teach that, mate, can you?
When a guy's 6'4", 6'5", £305, moving him about's quite tricky. So, and that's kind of just one player. They've got a full team of people like that who they've brought through and recruited, and you'll know yourself because they pick up some Gateshead guys and guys from Chorley, other good youth programs, and just take them in and train them, 3-4 times a week. And how can you defend against that when you're training guys twice a week who've just come in this year? It's always going to be a struggle against them.
But 15-0 is not the scoreline we were expecting, though, is it? So credit to Brunel on that one. I know Pride had a few injuries early on, but for me, that's got to be a higher scoreline, if I'm honest. So all credit to Brunel on that one. But I expect more from Pride.
Yeah, but again, I think we need to kind of praise Brunel more as well, and say actually the things they were doing worked, and how they played worked.
Oh, 100%. Like, for them to keep Pride at 15 alone is ridiculous. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Now, I obviously wasn't there at the game. I know that their fixture this week is live streamed, so it's going to be good to see that. But having spent a lot of time down at Pride and knowing the coaches and knowing a lot of the players there, I know they won't be happy with that result either. Like, Pride demands perfection. And if that wasn't a perfect game, they will come out firing on Sunday. And I feel sorry for whoever they played against.
Exeter.
Yeah.
And it's a team they know, it's a team they've got film on. So Exeter are really going to have to kind of step up and take the game to them. And Exeter will be buoyed by looking at that Brunel result, though. They'll be looking at that and saying, maybe they're dropping off at the right time. It's going to give them confidence. So it's going to be an interesting game to kind of see how that develops. But I don't know if you saw some of the Brunel social media at like halftime before the game. You got to love a coach who hypes his guys up. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, Brunel, I think they recruit quite well as well, if I'm honest. And I've seen a lot of... Well, I know I've had contact in the past from Brunel for academy guys, so they must be doing something right for that scoreline. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But talking about Exeter, they played the Portsmouth Destroyers and won 6-0 in overtime.
Again, I'm really surprised about this. So Dave Gibbs is the OC at Portsmouth. Follow him on Twitter. We have a bit of back and forth every now and again. And, he's a phenomenal coach, real up and coming kind of rising coach, someone you need to keep an eye on for the next couple of years. And I'm really surprised that they didn't score more. And I know he'll be kind of tearing his hair out, because he's a guy who prides himself on his offense, and his offense being scoring more. So I think it was a close game, and it just shows you as well that these teams are quite well matched up when you're seeing these scores. It's showing that they deserve to be there. And again, it boils down to one or two plays here or there, and for it to go to overtime shows that neither team wanted to go home.
It does, I think it is what only playoff game so far this season has went to overtime. But I've actually seen the game-winning score. And Leiden, Ward Best, the head coach for Exeter, posted on his Facebook, it's overtime, 4th and goal on the 2. I'm not going to say the next thing that he says. Why not put a linebacker and defensive tackle in the backfield, a tight end at running back, offset the line, double tight, and boom. And you just see a lot of big guys moving a lot of other big guys and a score. Love it. Absolutely love it. And the fact that there was a celebration as well at the end, the guy throws a ball in the air, and there is nothing anyone can do about it because it's after the play and the game's over anyways, is brilliant. I love a celebration. We should be allowed to do it in this country. And
I mean, so one of the Wolverines players, he plays for Portsmouth as well, and they recruit well as well. They're another team. We've got the brand, they've got the U brand, and that's another team that you'll be looking at next year to take another step forward and develop and grow even more. So I just think, again, like you said, it boils down to a play. And was it Bush they put at tight end?
I've got no idea, if I'm honest. But the fact that they've done that in that sort of formation just shows the coach is being like, yeah, sorry, we're going for it now. I love that.
When I was down at UWE, they ran like a single wing offense there, and they were always quite a run-heavy team, so it's good that they're kind of sticking to that philosophy, to be honest.
Southwest, mate, it's all run-heavy. I love it. I love the Southwest football. We've got some Division 2 now. Quarterfinal, Oxford Lancers, 6. Greenwich Mariners, 31.
Are we going to address the video?
No.
Have you not seen it?
No, I've not.
It's an absolute madness of a video, to be honest. A guy takes a helmet to the nuts, fully on camera.
Yes, I have seen the video. Yes, yeah.
It's an absolute, what is going on here. There's a wide receiver who doesn't have a clue what he... Well, yeah. I actually think he knew exactly what he was doing. I'm going to defend him.
He stepped out the way, yeah.
Yeah, and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's just faking them out. It's all mind games. This guy's operating on a different level to everybody else.
The helmet to the balls was 2 people from the same team, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was friendly fire. So not the best. When your own player kind of takes your nads out.
I mean, it happens. Right? This is quite funny because Billy's just put ironic because Billy actually messaged us today to tell us that he was injured because they were doing a tackling drill at his training session today, and he got a friendly fire shot today, so he's feeling a bit under the weather from it. Yeah,
and it just adds insult to injury, doesn't it, when the team scores at the end of it as well, and you've got to turn around already in pain watching that happen. But Mariners, good for it, good for a result, and moving on.
Great result against Oxford, that, by the way. But that was all the results that I didn't do on Monday because I was ill. So we'll get rid of that now. But this week, we've got some cracking games. Do you want to start with Div 2 and work our way up, or do you want to go with Prem and work our way down?
Let's start with Div 2. Let's keep the people waiting.
Let's start with Div 2. So we've got Mmu Eagles versus Liverpool Raptors. What's your pick on this one?
It's a tricky one, this, because Liverpool Raptors, they've got a weenie at the end. I don't know if you've seen him.
Yeah, the big, massive guy.
No, he's not a big. So he plays defensive end for him, punts for him, does bits here and there. One of my coaches put me on him and was like, you need to watch this guy because he's just an absolute natural. So they've got him at defensive end, and they've got a couple of other good players around there. That they're kind of moving on and. So yeah, for me it's I'm still going to pick MMU though. That quarterback Alex Scott is down there. Thanks, Mike. Trying to be a professional here.
I know, we're trying to do this properly, but you said you couldn't do it this week because I flake Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So
yeah, Googie's sat making sandcastles on a beach. Meanwhile, we're delivering hard-hitting news and facts to people.
Facts, mate.
Facts.
None of this rubbish. Yeah.
So this is going to be a close game, and the funny thing is both head coaches play linebacker at Manchester Titans.
Yeah.
So that could be an awkward training session on Wednesday for whoever goes home. To be honest with you, so. For me, though, I'm going to go MMU. I'm going to go our local team. I'm going to go our local rivals. I can't look past the quality that they've got at quarterback. Quarterback always wins games.
Yeah, they've got Alex at quarterback, haven't they? So
yeah, and Scott's a good coach. He's done wonders with that program, and he's taken them to where they need to be.
Alex at quarterback, Jack Lewis at linebacker. I can't disagree with you too much. But I just seen what Liverpool done to Edinburgh a few weeks ago. That was disgusting.
I was running chains, though, at the last Raptors MMU meeting. So I was actually on Chain Gang Hype Crew. So I got to watch that one. And I saw that one. Yeah, cheers, Scott. He actually still owes me the money for that game. But yeah, I was running chains for that. And it was really close. It was really, really close. Yeah, I agree with what John says about Pride, by the way.
Pride have a lot of decent players, to be sure, but their biggest attribute is that they have the hype and the other teams believe it. To be honest, I think their biggest attribute is how hard they train and how well they perform normally. So,
but it is the brand as well. You look at it and you go, oh shit, I don't want to play them.
Of course they do. But realistically, the fact that they're training 4 days a week, gym 3 days a week,
it's earned.
Yeah,
it's not like it's not earned, but it is. When you look at that on your schedule, you go, that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
But yeah, just going back to MMU, it's that game against Raptors was a really close game, really, really close game, and it could have gone either way. And I think MMU will be buoyed by that. Like they'll have the tails up and they'll be confident going into that. Again, with MMU, it's a young team. Raptors is the same. So when you've got that confidence, when you've got that belief, it counts for a lot. When the talent is quite similar between the two teams.
I don't know who I want to pick. So, I do know who I want to pick, but I just don't know. Like, this is one of them games.
Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles, fly.
You know what it is? I was all up for picking the Eagles, right? And if I had not have seen any film or anything from that Edinburgh game that they had for the Raptors, I would have went with the Eagles straight away. But the way that the Raptors just pissed through that offensive line.
It's a weenie, and they've got a defensive tackle. I don't know his name, but
the guy that's like 9 foot tall.
Yeah, they're just a nightmare. They've got a really good linebacker as well. A really good linebacker. Dead instinctive.
So is Manchester. Jack Lewis.
Yeah, so it was a good game last time. They basically just turned up last time to beat each other up. So it was quite a decent game to watch, to be honest.
I think there's only going to be a score in it.
Yeah, it's going to come down to who ends up with the least injuries on the teams in terms of the experienced players.
So who are you going to go with? You're going to go with MMU?
MMU.
Yeah, go on. I'll pick MMU as well. I can't not.
Mainly because Scott owes me 20 quid, and if he goes to the finals, I'll have to go and he can give it to me then. Mainly
because I've got to coach 2 of the kids that play for them, so I'm not gonna kick off too much. No, I don't know. I can't. They beat them in the season, so I'm just gonna go with that. Next game: Glasgow Tigers versus Staffordshire Stallions.
So it is a tricky one. This one, obviously, we don't know a ton about the teams, but I know Staffs have got Ryan Weaver, who plays DB for Titans Senior, and he also plays QB for them as well. it's the old adage of if you put your best player at quarterback and then work back from there, and it's working for Staffs. And it's whether Glasgow have got some, anything to counter that experience of Premiership football. Ryan does play for Titans at Prem level, and it's whether Glasgow can kind of handle that in terms of what they've got around them. But I know Glasgow have got a good kind of core of running backs as well. And we won't mention the pitch.
I don't think they're playing on it. Anyways, so I think Glasgow are going to run the ball really well. It depends what Staff's D-line turns up doing. Glasgow are a team that will just come and run the ball every play, all game. I'd be surprised if there was 5 passes from Glasgow.
Yeah, me too.
But who's your pick in this one?
I'm going to go Glasgow.
Right.
Mainly because, you know me, I like my running backs. I like my running football. I like that core of running backs. And it's just for that reason. I don't know a ton about both teams, I'm going to be brutally honest. But I know I've heard a bit of hype from Glasgow Tigers and the running backs, so I'll go with that.
I don't know what to go with here, if I'm honest. And I can guarantee that I'll just get more shit if I don't pick Glasgow. So yeah, I'm going to go with Staff. That's what I'm going to go with. I've just got a sneaking feeling that with the QB, they might be able to do something.
I think it could go either way. Legitimately, it could go either way.
The travel. The travel's the big one.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm going to go with Glasgow. I think that travel is just too much for any team. So
you could coin flip. You could realistically coin flip this. I think that evenly matched.
Yeah. South Greenwich Mariners versus KCL Regents. After Greenwich Mariners just came up 31-6 winners over Oxford. What you going with?
I'm going to go with my boy at wide receiver for Greenwich Mariners. I reckon he's a sneaky, intelligent receiver who knew exactly what he was doing on that play, faking out the DB, clearing a bit of space. So I'm going to have to go with my Greenwich Mariners for that. I don't actually know much about KCL Regents. I'm going to be completely honest with you. So just going to go with the team that's coming off the biggest win.
Yeah, I'll probably wanting to do the same because I think that win against Oxford is very big. So I'm going to go the same. As much as I want to go KCL Regents for some reason, I think they've played actually quite well this season. I don't know. No, I'm going to go KCL Regents. I can't trust that guy blocking. No, I'm going KCL. Sorry. Nah, if that guy's playing, the infamous blocker, I'm going with the other team.
Don't need to block if you just run him off.
He didn't do that, though. He just stood there.
Got in the way.
He's done enough. We'll say he's done enough. Kent Falcons versus Bournemouth Bobcats. Who are you going with?
I'm going to go with Bournemouth Bobcats. I've had some insider information about Bournemouth Bobcats and their programme and kind of where they're heading in terms of team building, in terms of recruitment, in terms of what they're building, in terms of coaching staff. So I'm just going to go with Bournemouth for that one. It's not a knock on Kent. I think Kent, from what people have told me, they're a good team, solid outfit. But I just think Bournemouth, in terms of the experience of coaching staff, are going to bring it forward from there. And as well, Bournemouth beat UE2s, didn't they? So
yeah.
And I think UE2s aren't a joke. They've got players who have played previously in UE2s. They've played at other good teams. They've played up like under-19 programs and come into that team. So that's not a joke, and it wasn't a kind of close victory either. So I think Bournemouth with this one.
You've stole everything I was going to say about the Bobcats. So yes, I'm going with Bobcats. Next one up, we'll go over to Division 1. I'm going to start with the Hallam game. So I'm going to say Newcastle Raiders versus Sheffield Hallam. What you thinking?
It's so tricky. It really is, because on paper they match up really well against each other. Because Sheffield, we ran the ball successfully on them. That was kind of what we hung our hat on. And Newcastle run the ball exceptionally well. For me, Newcastle stopped the run really well, but you can attack them through the air with that defense that is set up with a too high shell. You can attack through the air there, and Sheffield throw the ball exceptionally well. So I feel like this is going to be quite a high-scoring game. I think in the first and second quarter it's going to be quite cagey, and I think third and fourth it's going to explode when they just both settle in and they both go for it. I can't, as much as I kind of, having played against Newcastle and having seen them up close and seen how much quality they have in the team. I've already spoke about them. James McArthur, the lineman, we've not spoke about him yet. The American import plays both ways for them. Man mountain. I can't look past Sheffield Hallam here. I think they'll sneak it. And I think it is going to be 1 or 2 points.
What was your result when you played Hallam?
So we had a 44-42 and I think we had a 42-40 because we ran the ball a lot on them and they just aired it out against us. And I think it's going to be similar in terms of score. But I genuinely, if either team won, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to root for Hallam just to clear them out of our division. To be honest with you, so I don't have to play them again next year.
I like that.
But I think I'm going to go with a bold prediction. I'm going to go Jack Porteous. I'm going to go 2 touchdowns.
Oh, all right.
I'm going to go bold prediction. That's my boy at receiver. That is a player who I think we need to keep eyes on because he is going to be a good player. But yeah, I think it's going to be close. If Newcastle go to that double wing formation and start running the ball, who knows what could happen because they run the ball so well from that, so well, and it is their roots. So I wish I could watch it. I wish it was live streamed, to be honest, because it's going to be a hell of a game.
I'll see what I can do. See if I can get some live stuff.
They've got Dan Johnson at QB as well, Hallam as well. I didn't want to keep going on about him, but older player, experience, played for Caesars for ages. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a hell of a game, to be honest. This is for me the game of the week.
Oh, I like that shout. I like that. I'll take that as game of the week, definitely. John, want to know my bold prediction for this?
Go on.
I think there's going to be 2 touchdowns in this game. Okay? So I think there's going to be like a 12-point win. I think it's going to be for Newcastle. And I think Newcastle are going to get a pick 6 in this game. And I think Matthew Appleby to score a rushing and receiving touchdown.
It's so tight, this game. And Kieran Dunn, the head coach of Hallam as well, I've got mad respect for him as well. And I've got mad respect for both of them. It's honestly, I'm so conflicted with this game.
I think it's going to come down to that run game. If they go into that, so where they've got the 2 tight ends either side and they bring them in motion and stuff, if they go back to that and then they bring that little orbit motion in there and start passing out of that, I think it's going to be difficult for Hallam. But if Hallam can get up early in this game, they could win it also.
I'm gonna say as well, David Anee is going to make a big contribution in this game for Hallam. If he has a good game, if Newcastle goes that double wing and David has a good game against it, Hallam will set themselves up for to be in the best position because he is a quality defensive tackle. But he's going against James McArthur, and that interior of that offensive line for me against Newcastle is where you would have to attack it.
Yeah,
and it's not a knock on them. It's not as good. Like the entire line's quality, it's just not as good as where they are at tackle.
Yeah. I just think if they can stop... So if Sheffield can stop Newcastle running outside and stay at home on the QB, do not bite on the QB. If you bite on that handoff, that QB's taking you for 80 yards, mate. Like
we we stopped him from running, and they still ran over us. So it's they've got, like you said, they've got all the weapons now. They've got all the talent around them. So it's going to be a great game, and I wish we could watch it because it is going to be probably one of the better games we're going to see this season, and it's going to be a great advertisement for our league, no matter what.
Right. What I'm going to do now, right, is I'm going to say like some shit about Sheffield now, right, just so that I might make it as like a meme later on for them, because like I've got a feeling only a handful of them watched the show anyways, and then they made a meme about Mike because they didn't listen to half the conversation. They just took the tiny bit that he said. So give it a bit of airtime free. Yeah, so I think Sheffield Hallam are absolutely shite. So I think they're going to get destroyed by 200 points. Make me a meme, bitches. No, right, I'm joking. I love Hallam really, and I like the coach and stuff. Pride, Exeter, what are you going with?
I can't look past SGS. No. I can't. I just can't. And as much as Exeter, they've got James Bush, Alex Shallis, last game had 271 yards against Portsmouth. I just think SGS are just too much. They'll have players back. They'll be returning players. And like you said, it's that wounded animal, even though they won the last game. And the last game wasn't close. And I know you're an SGS boy, and I get that. I completely get that, but I can't look past them either.
Nah, the quality, mate. Absolutely quality. The coach is there, the players there. But I do rate the coaches at Exeter also.
Yeah, but sometimes it is just a bridge too far. But Exeter will be up for it. I think it'll be a lot closer than the last game. I think it'll be a lot closer. They've got players emerging Exeter. The younger players will have been blooded, so they can stand up more against the experience of SGS now, rather than earlier in the start of the season when it would have been for some players your third game and you're going against a bloke who legitimately wants to rip your head off and has been playing for the past 6 years. But this one, I'm going to say AJ Carr touchdown.
Oh, I like it. That's a shout.
Yeah, let's go for an AJ Carr touchdown. Just to bring in the Bucks, but I think James Bush, I think he'll have a touchdown, and I think Alex Shallis will have a good game as well at running back.
Who's going to start at QB?
Again, it's the Hallam paradox as well, isn't it? It's whoever you start, they're going to be quality.
Yeah, I'm going to do this one for Pride. I'm going to say 2 different quarterbacks throw touchdowns. And I like the sound of that. I think Benzie will start, and then Josh will come in later on. He'll score a touchdown as well.
He's a good QB, Benzie, isn't he? Let's be honest.
But Josh is unreal. Yeah, Josh is ridiculous. Like, if as far as I'm concerned, I think Josh is the second best under 19 eligible quarterback in the country. Behind Christian.
Again, I think it is going to be a lot closer, but I think SGS will kind of pull out, with this one. I think it'll be close again in the first and second, but I feel like the experience will just start pulling away from teams.
Yeah, I'll just rate them. I think they'll win by 2 scores. I think it's going to be close, but 2 scores. When I say 2 scores, that is close for that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's me saying Exeter have done well in that game, in my opinion.
I will say though, any given Sunday, if James Bush goes off, the running game goes off, they control the clock, they keep that offense off the field, Exeter have got an opportunity. I'm not going to use the chance word because it's such a difficult game to play against, but I think they've got an opportunity.
Penalties will be what costs Pride. They are so energetic and want to go for it. Like, you've seen when we played them with the under-19 North team. Like, we just wanted to get them to jump. Get that defense to jump because they're just so, like, they play on that edge constantly. They just want to fire at you and hit you. And if you can get them to jump, they just start getting on each other's nerves and they're just all fired up. And you see what happens. Let's see what Exeter can do. Over to the Prem. Now, I'm going to start this one with Nottingham Gold versus Birmingham Lions. What's your pick on this one?
Firstly, I have to declare that my absolute admiration, shall we say, for the tight end from Birmingham / lineman, former all DC under-19s linebacker James Schofield. He plays for us at Wolverines. That is my boy. I've been down to watch them twice this year, Birmingham, just to go and watch him play and support him. And he doesn't get a lot of love. Everyone, when they talk about the Birmingham games, they never talk about him. They always talk about these receivers and everything like that, and they don't talk about him. So I'm just going to give a shout out to him. I think he's going to have a good game this weekend. I think he'll be what.
Who's that? Just so I can edit this bit out later on.
James Schofield.
Right, we'll edit that later on. Right, no.
Yeah, but I think he's going to have a good game. Him and Onamade. For a running quarterback, your tight end is your best friend. Let's be honest. Because when you're a threat to run and you're rolling out, who's going to be there in your intermediate routes? It's going to be your tight end.
I'll tell you what I am going to say to you, though, while you mentioned James. Okay? I'm just going to put this out there. James, your brother's going to be better than you.
Oh, I'd agree with that as well.
Yeah. All the Schofields, class. And honestly, absolutely. Daniel Schofield, baller. Baller.
But he's benefiting from where Schofield's been, and that helps as well. Like, he's benefiting from that experience. But that entire family, they just play football the right way. But that's he's more he is a Prem level player, and for all of Birmingham's struggles this year, that's the type of player that you've always associated with Birmingham. That football player, hard nosed, plays it the right way, physical, energetic. Doesn't give up on plays. And Onamade is the same. He'll play both ways for him, I reckon, this weekend. And just a phenomenal player. He got invited to the CFL Combine for a reason, Onamade, so it kind of says everything about him. But I just think UON have just got too much. There's just too much. It's just too deep, that squad, in terms of quality. When you've got a guy who was playing in the European League of Football, in that Jack Brennan at defensive tackle, it's just going to clog up that interior run game so much. So It just means the outside guys can just focus on shutting Onamade down.
Well, I agree with what you're saying. But since Jason has failed to send me a Nottingham Gold hat so far, which I'm still waiting for, Jason. I know you're watching. I'm still gonna have to go with Nottingham, unfortunately. I think we're gonna get the final that we expect.
Yeah, that we want. Give the people what they want.
I don't know if it's what I want. I think it's what we expect. But I don't know if it's what I want.
I mean,
I'm not going to lie, I would pay money to watch the Nottingham Gold Birmingham Lions game, and I would pay money to watch the UWE Leeds Beckett game. I would pay money to watch them.
I'd pay money to watch the Hallam Newcastle game as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's free. So 3:30 kickoff tomorrow at.
No, I think UON have to be applauded as well. They've kind of, between them and Leeds, they've almost changed the landscape of American football in the UK in terms of recruitment of players, in terms of development of players that they're bringing in, and really kind of going into under-19s programs and saying, we're going to take these players out, we're going to bring these in, we're going to put our arm around them and make sure that they end up with us. And it's a model that, we're following at UOM, and we're kind of forging our own path with it. So I just think UON are just going to have too much quality this weekend in terms of what they've got in the squad. Birmingham squad's quite youthful in places, and it's quite top heavy with talent in terms of what they've got.
I still think, you know what it is, the Birmingham result against Durham was a shocker for me. I did not have Birmingham winning that game.
But you've got Wilf, who's the head coach of Birmingham. Great coach, phenomenal coach, unbelievable DC. And then you've got in Birmingham, because I know Schofield will be involved in the game plan. I know Onamade will be. They'll be looking at it and they'll be saying this works. They'll be scheming it up along with the coaches. And I don't think it's going to be an absolute cricket score. I think it's going to be close, but I just think UON will just have that depth when the game gets late on to just see them through. But it's another game where I wouldn't be surprised if Birmingham pulled a rabbit out of the hat.
See, I was going to ask you that.
Schofield was part of that Hertfordshire team that knocked UON out when everybody said UON are going to beat them. UON are just going to dominate this Hertfordshire team. Schofield was part of that team. He was part of that offence that kind of brought it back and turned it round.
So, if you had to pick a score, what's your score that you're going to go with?
It's going to have to be, I'm going to say 34. Let's go 34-20 UON.
I like that. That's a good pick.
And I think it's gonna be close. It is gonna be close, and I think it'll be a kind of pull away as we get towards the end, where Birmingham just get a bit tired, just get a bit worn down.
Birmingham always produced high-intensity, hard-nosed football players. You remember us playing against the Bulls back in the 80s and 90s, and they were some of the best games he played in. Now, I think that's Birmingham as a city.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
we've got Max. So Max plays for us at Wolverines. He's come out of the Birmingham Bulls and kind of played in that system. And they just, they talk about the people who went before them and how they played. And now they talk about how they played. And it is just that continuation of football players, whether they're physical football players. And, I remember when I was at UE, you heard rumours of players like Idan Conroys and people like that. And they were like these mythical beasts who you just couldn't get anywhere near.
Yeah. I think if I had to pick a score, I'm going to say 21-14 to Gold.
No missed field goals? Or extra points? No missed
field goals. I think...
Or extra points?
I think at this level, they all kick the field goal net. They all kick that extra point. They all kick the field goal. I just think that's what they do. If it was me, I'd be going for 2 and kick an onside kick. But
I have seen a Schofield fake field goal this year.
I still think they're going to do it. I still think they'll kick it. I would love it to be 14 all in the last few seconds and a fake field goal happen. I would love that. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Nottingham gold for that one.
Me too, but I think it's going to be close. I do think it is going to be close. Are we up on the big one?
Yeah, the final fixture that we're going to discuss today. UWE Bullets versus Leeds Beckett Carnegie. What's your prediction on this one?
Huey. It's my alma mater. It's my team. It's where I I grew up really as part of that team. That team was what kept me at uni and kind of kept me going and kept me where I am. And I'm never going to look past them, no matter what. That's my team. They've got, for God's sake, they've got the former Iowa State captain playing cornerback for them. Like the QB depth chart is ridiculous. They could swap it out every single drive. I mean, I'm not trying to look past Leeds too much. I know they've got their own quality players. I know they've got that Dante Edwards who plays running back, linebacker, quality. I know they've got Nick Alberto, plays quarterback. I know they've got their own talent. But this UE team is just different this year. It's just completely different. They've not conceded a point in the Premiership at all. And I've watched the games, and some of them have hearkened on like dangerous how much they're dominating teams. It's just not close.
Yeah.
And Leeds to me, Dale. I did my level 1 with Dale. He's formed a lot of my own coaching philosophy. He's one of the coaches that I look up to in this country. That program is how you would build a program if you were starting it from scratch. But they've got 16 Division 1 guys at UE or something daft like that. It's just the squad that Dan's built there is just unbelievable. And everyone kind of dogs him and says, it's easy to do with money, but he's built that himself. It's the house that Dan's built, that team.
Is it though?
It is, because he's put the time in. He's gone out and identified them. He's gone out and networked with them, spoke to them, brought them in, let them know. They've not, for the most part, come to him and said, can I have this? Can I have that? He's gone up to them and he's gone, what do you think about doing this in the UK? What do you think about doing this? And nobody looks at the time constraints. And I get it's easier when you've got the resources. I completely get that. But he's put the work in. And as much as we applaud Jason for the work he's done at UON, I think we need to give Dan a bit of credit as well and put a bit of respect on his name as well.
No, I get where you're saying that. I'm just thinking, mate, I like Leeds. I like the way they can change up. I like the way they can run the ball. I don't think they've played anyone as physical as Leeds yet.
No, and listen, when Ivan's kind of rolling out and Alex Littlewood's coming screaming at him, it's a different prospect than when you're playing against UEA. You know, no disrespect to UEA, it's just a different ball game. But I just think that UE could almost field 3 different starting 11 offenses, and they'd all be quality.
And I get that again, but I think I'm going to go bold on this. And as much as my head's telling us UE's going to score 40-odd points and not concede, I'm going to say it's a low-scoring game and Beckett win by a score. And everyone's going to give me shit for that now. And I don't care.
I can't wait to get on the alumni chat after this.
Do it. Invite us in. I'll give them shit as well. No, I think they'll try and match up. They'll give UE the underneath stuff, and they'll get bored very quickly and try to go deep, they have done against everyone. Yeah,
and I think, and I completely get what you're saying. I just think we've got to look at what the Leeds do well. So Leeds run the ball well. That's their thing. They run the ball exceptionally well. Misdirection. They put you in the wrong place. UE's front 7 is arguably the best front 7 I've seen outside of, you know, kind of London Warriors. It is that level, if not better. And it's just that prospect of Leeds haven't played anybody like that who just comes off the ball and just wants to murder people.
Just the usual, mate.
And that's the only thing. If UE's defensive line wasn't as strong and wasn't as deep, I feel like Leeds could set plays up where they would be successful. And I get what you're saying about where they can make plays, but I just think it's going to be, there's just too good athletes playing on that UE defense for Leeds to do what they want to do. And I think Leeds will be the first team to score against them this year. I genuinely do think that. I think they will score against them. I just don't think they've got enough to hang with them consistently yet at the moment. But Dale will come back and build something.
I honestly think Beckett will win this game, and I don't know why I'm saying it, because my head is telling us, honestly, that UE is going to go out and absolutely destroy them. But I just think, whatever happens in this game, UE is going to be a worse team afterwards to come up against one of the other two. Because I think the physicality level of this next game is going to be ridiculous for them. Like, I know a lot of the Leeds guys, and I know they are going to go 100% and hit people as hard as possible. And I know that's going to happen. And I don't think that's happened yet for them.
No, but I think when you're at the team level where you're putting guys who were NFL prospects on special teams, I think you're playing a whole different ball game there to the rest of the league. Because let me tell you, I would not want to be running down on kickoff and I've got Brian Peavy screaming at me. It's a different prospect altogether running against somebody like that. That is a business decision.
Mate,
don't get me wrong, I would do it once or twice. By the third and fourth time, I am not going to be in a good place.
Mate, see, this is the point, right? You're not northern enough now, right? Because I'm telling you, I'd put it this way: if John, if you're still watching, John Leatham, if he's still watching, I'm telling you now, the ballers that he's played against and played with in the teams he played for, I guarantee they'd be up for it.
I know, and I get that, but it's just a different level of athlete that you're dealing with here. Like
I don't care. If I put my shoulder into someone, I don't care if they're an athlete or not. I don't care what you've had for breakfast. I don't care what your mother does for a living. When I'm on that pitch, I'm going to hit you, and you're going to remember it. I'll make sure you do.
It's catching up to them to hit them, though. That's the problem.
Put them in a place where if my team's got the ball, if I'm begging, I'm just going to run it and I'm going to hit you. I'm going to pull a lineman, I'm going to crack you. I'm going to run trap all day and I'm going to kick the living shit out of you.
What Leeds would have benefited from is being able to play this at home, finding the muddiest pitch that they can find in Leeds, putting a load more water on it.
I'd be on kick-off, mate. I love kick-off.
Putting a load of mud on it just to try and slow down on this. But yeah, I think Leeds will score, and I think Leeds will score more than once. But I think Uwe are just gonna run away with this one, to be honest with you.
Nah. I rate Leeds, mate. I do. I rate them. I rate any of the northern teams. Like, I think you just can't teach heart, mate. Like, and yes, these kids might have been playing since they were 3 years old or something. But come up against a kid from Yorkshire that's had nothing all his time and he's finally got a scholarship to play American football. He's going to put his shoulder into you, so he's got that scholarship next year.
I think what is going to be good to come out of this game, though, is we're going to realise that we've got some players who can hang with these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Alex Littlewood is one that will definitely do that, and he'll come out of this game with his head held high because, you know, he's of that level where he can compete at that level.
Mate, you know what it is? I'll get shit for saying, because I said that I would pick Uwe at the start of the season for winning the full thing. But I also said at the start of the season they don't want to see Beckett in the playoffs. That's the one team I do not want to see in the playoffs. Is Beckett. Like, the year they won it, no one expected them to win it.
No.
They just came and hit people. That physicality is what I want to see. That's football.
And I was coaching for UOM as like an assistant coach, and we played Leeds in the pre-season. The year that they won they won it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never seen a team hit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, the physicality level.
But I just think this is another step up again. And I think this will be. I think they'll score 1 or 2, but I think Uwe have just got too much. I think it'll be over 40 for Uwe.
I've played against and with NFL athletes, including Super Bowl winners, and yes, they are awesome athletes, but they are still human. And I can tell you, nobody likes to get hit if you're not afraid of them. I'm telling you now, Leeds will go there and they will not care what these kids have done before. They do not care that you've played at Iowa and you're a Division 1 athlete, because guess what? You're not anymore. You're playing at Uwe, and unfortunately, you're playing against Leeds, and Leeds are going to come down and they're going to hit you every chance they get. They're going to grab you, and you know what? Bafra ain't going to see shit, and there's nothing you can do about it.
And I think that's where Leeds will get their get themselves into the game, is by bringing it to their level, and that's the only way that they can bring it to. But look, it's going to be a great game, and it's live streamed as well, and it's live streamed by some alumni as well. So it'd be a great game to watch. But it'll be interesting to see, regardless how Dale kind of comes back, because I've seen some of the recruits he's bringing in already. It'll be interesting to kind of see how he comes back to it. And again, it's another team like UON where they've built it.
Mike, put it this way, right? If we were having a 100-meter hurdle race, me and you right now, right? You are clearly the obvious favourite for that, aren't you?
You've never seen me run, trust me.
You've never seen me model.
Most people at UE and Titans and Wolverines would probably be backing you, to be fair.
Well, they should, because I guarantee at the start line, I'm going to kick in the leg, mate. As soon as I bang, I'm going to turn kick it, because I'm not losing. I'm sorry. I can't lose. I do not like losing. I don't even let my daughter beat us in a game, mate, and she's 4. Like, I do not like losing, and that is what Leeds are like. They are not going to go down there and roll over. They're going to go down there and be in that game. They are going to do everything they can till the final whistle. And I don't think Uwe are understanding that they're going to go there and be hit. Like I think you now expect to win the full thing, or at least just waiting for Nottingham.
I don't think they'll be. I really don't think they'll be looking past Leeds. I think they'll be looking at this as this is the type of games that they want to play every week.
Yeah.
I think they'll be looking at this like this is what we came here for. The regular season was almost like an extended pre-season for us. This is where we wanted to be. These are the teams that we wanted to play. Because for me, the Premiership now, it's almost 2 tiers in the Premiership.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd probably say this, yeah.
And UE, Birmingham, Leeds, UON, it's just a different level.
I get that. I'm definitely getting made into a meme at some point this week, though.
Oh, me too as well.
I don't even care.
I'm not influential enough for it to bother me.
Neither am I. But that's all for this week, anyways. Unless you've got anything else you want to talk about.
Just yeah, it's going to be a great week of games. To be honest, it is going to be. I look at sort of most of these games and say, this is a great advertisement for our league.
It is. I honestly, I'm really enjoying this. If I'm completely honest. But the last thing before we go, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. I've got it. No, still no under 19 fixtures. Buffer, finger out. Cheers.